Say, man, for those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what this is. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. We're gonna get to the other stuff in a minute. But first, see, what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So before we do anything else, vibe. And say, if at any point on this trip you feel yourself engulfed by darkness, I want you to allow me to be your beacon. If at any point on this journey together you feel like you can't find your smile, please allow me to be the smile on your face. Cause that's really all I am in essence anyway, is the smile on your face. I be shining too. Yeah. And all of that, what I really want you to realize is that you're ready to just open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. One time. I don't give a fuck about the darkness. It was a point where it terrified me. Till I realized that I am the shadow. I am the beast. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. And that's fearsome. Yeah. Yeah. Don't let nobody call you crazy. No. You just in tune, right? Hopefully. Hey. It's about that time. What it was, y'all. Y'all should know who it is. If not, I can't tell you. You can just call me He Who Must Remain Nameless. But I definitely ain't Voldemort. But hey, y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight, man. And I hope everybody feeling good. I hope everybody vibing. Because, you know, it's time to get back to it, man. And in this case, you know, sometimes it ain't you. Sometimes it's the people you fool with. Or sometimes it is you. And the people you fool with been trying to tell your ass. I don't know. But, you know, this right here, this is a little something about those people that have their black moon Lilith in the 11th house of their natal chart. Yeah. What about your friends? And see, before we actually go there, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give y'all a little bit about what the black moon Lilith is all about. I'm going to give y'all a little information on what the energy is that comes along with it, you know, the mythology behind it and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown of what the 11th house of the astrological chart is actually all about. Then after that, I'm going to bring it to a climax, which It's fortunately for you what I do best. So, without wasting any more time, it ain't nothing to it but to do it. So, Lilith come to us as the oldest story ever told. And, she comes to us from Judaic or Jewish mythology. And you see, this was the first woman ever created. That's right. Not Eve, Lilith. Lilith was created at the same time equally to Adam. And hey, all was good in the hood between them until it came time to consummate that relationship. Because like I said, this ain't even, she ain't submissive. So, when it was time, Adam said, lay down, Lilith, so I may lay on top of you. And you see, she wasn't having that. And she said, no, man, you lay down so I may lay on top of you. And Mr. Adam wasn't having that either. So they got into it. There was a great calamity, and the angel of the Lord ended up having to come down and sort it down. And in doing so, immediately sided with Adam. Lilith, she felt disrespected. She felt dejected. So she dipped out to become many different things in many different mythologies. Some would say that she's a demon that steals and kills babies. Some would say that she's a seducer of men to their demise, kind of like Jezebel. Some would say that she's Satan's consort. Some would say that she's the mother of all demons. But that's a bunch of bullshit. I'm gonna tell you now, that was some bullshit made up by a bunch of scared little men. Because what Lilith is strong, feminine, fierce, independent. Is it sexy? Yeah, definitely. Feminine energy. Is it manipulative? Yeah, it has to be. It doesn't have brute force to work with. But does that make it evil, bad, negative? No, absolutely not. And we'll get into that. Okay. And so, going back to the story, Adam, he's sick, man. He don't have him nobody. He was just about to get his swerve on and, do what all men feel they're destined to do and spread his seed. And it didn't work out for him. So he's sick. And so, being that it wasn't his fault in everybody else's eyes, the creator put him into a stupor, took one of his ribs and made Eve, who is of Adam, made for Adam. Now, is that all women? No, that's Eve. Is that the only manifestation of feminine energy? Absolutely not. Okay. Once again, it's a case of what you do with it is what you do with it. And so, when we're talking about astrology, in each one of our charts, there's an indicator of dark karma. And this is kind of where Lilith becomes a factor. And like the nodes and the Arabic parts that we're already talking about, this is not an actual celestial body, but, rather a certain point or an aberration in the chart. And, this one helps us understand where certain provocations, where certain temptations, turn-ons, fear, and trials really might await a person right here. It can also represent the darker or the shadow side of our personality. Okay. And, it's going to manifest in different people. It could represent the energy that puts us in great states of trepidation or fear. It could represent, the energy that turns us on. It could be the energy that makes us nervous. It could be all of that, and it's good. Like I said, it's going to manifest differently, with different people. And the thing is, if you look at this energy as something that's bad or negative, it's going to manifest as something that's bad or negative. If you view feminine energy as something that's weak or negative, you're going to have a rough time with this. Okay. If you think the shadow parts of yourself, the darker part of yourself aren't necessary, if you think they're bad, you're going to have some trouble. Okay. That's something to think about. If you think that masculine has anything to do with being male and feminine has anything to do with being female, then you need to come to a better, deeper spiritual understanding. And that'll help you out a lot more. And you won't struggle so much with this type of energy. Okay? That's just something to think about. And, there's also another thing you need to understand is that there's going to be periods when this is going to be a lot more intense. And that's in years of multiples of 9. And I'm not talking about 1909, 1918, 1927, 1936, 1945, and all of that. No, I'm talking about in years of multiples of 9 since your birth, because that's how long it takes to traverse the whole zodiac and make her return. And, that's when it's going to be what a lot would call a time of reckoning, where you have to look yourself in the mirror and, do a lot of shadow work and all that. But maybe nothing will happen Because maybe you believe that just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. Maybe you've already integrated the shadow. You know, there's all kinds of ways this could play out. And I'm not here for predictions. What I'm here for is, personality traits and self-awareness. Okay. So that's just something to think about. Okay. And in Greek, this is known as the black moon Hecate. Okay. And so when we're talking about the 11th house is, ruled by Aquarius and the planets Uranus and Saturn to a lesser degree. Okay. And, it's here that we kind of find our goals and our objectives. This is where we see our friendships and any mentorships to any groups or associations that we might be involved in. The work in society represented in the 10th is really released to the unique individual doing the activities and exhibiting the energies of whatever planets show up in our 11th house. Okay. This shows our gains too. Okay. Not our money, what we have, our possessions, like the second house. This shows what we're making, not necessarily what we're keeping. Okay. So that's something to think about, man. And so when we're talking about putting the black moon Lilith in the 11th house, in full disclosure, when I think about this, man, I'm telling y'all straight up, man, that this one right here, in my opinion, this is one of the most difficult and painful placements that there are for the black moon, because a lot of the time the people with their Lilith here really don't feel comfortable or safe connecting with other people. So it's just really hard for them to fit in or make friends, and the thing with that is, maybe they could have been bullied when they were younger, or, there's a lot of things that could have went on with that, but that doesn't necessarily always have to be the case, because, they themselves could have actually, been a part or, been the leader of a group of bullies themselves or a group of bad actors. You know what I'm saying? That's what Lilith here could be saying, that they might have been rolling with a band of bad motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But, either way it goes, man, an 11th house Lilith, man, it indicates an extremely strong, but unusual personality that's really so live and so unique that the native is always going to find, people in their little group or even motherfuckers that's claiming to be their friends, hating on them or trying to undermine them and, jealous of them because they ain't got it like that. That's just real. Or, they could feel like, like a black sheep because they think everybody's hating on them. But the truth is, man, they need to dead that ego. That could be the case because ain't nobody sweating them whatsoever. It could go both ways. So let me say that, needless to say, man, after you take all of that right there into consideration, most motherfuckers with this placement right here, they're loners, man. And, that's because they're so different in so many different ways. They have different hobbies and different tastes. And hell, they probably look way different too, whether, naturally or by design, because they're trying to look way different because they want to be way different. That's the thing with this, man. With this, man, getting along and fitting in is just going to be a real bitch. I'm letting you know. Which means whether it be by force or by choice, people with this black moon right here, man, in the 11th, they're often going to end up as misfits or outcasts and renegades and rebels and wild cards and, ultimately just some of the absolute most misunderstood motherfuckers in the whole world. Okay. Real talk, man. And, looking deeper into it, man, the crazy thing is, yeah, these are loners. These are loners, no doubt, man. But at the same time, deep down, they really want to belong to something too, man. So a lot of the times they're going to be drawn to groups of the more unusual or mysterious or even, dark or sometimes troublemaking people that, that they want to be friends with. They want to be around people that are strong-willed and independent, like themselves, okay? And they want to build up bands of misfits and outcasts and so-called weirdos. and in the worst cases, I've seen right here, man, this is one of the big indicators. They could be involved in gangs or, be fooling around with people who ain't even, got their best interest at heart at all, man. Or, with the destructive nature of Lilith here, they could be just fooling around with people that cause a lot of trouble, man. A lot of trouble, man. And, you know, the thing is, man, you know, their friendships, you know, this is where they feel like they're constantly dealing with betrayal, and where they're constantly, you know, dealing with jealousy and a whole bunch of extra shit from motherfuckers that, you know, they thought was down with them, or, you know, in the group of friends that they thought they was cool with, man. They're always dealing with that, man. And, you know, it could also be that, you know, anytime that, you know, they get in a group setting, they're the type that, you know, gets the feeling that other people don't be wanting them there. Whether that's true or not, understand? You know, they get that feeling that nobody wants them there. And, you know, they go to tripping, man. And, you know, the other end of that is, you know, they start, you know, doing extra shit and acting a fool purposely so that people kind of find them repulsive and don't want them there, because that's what they're projecting onto other people with this right here, you know. And that's crazy, man, when I think about that too. But, you know, that's kind of the exact reputation that they're going to end up getting a lot of the times. And if not, you know, if they're not getting looked at with this crazy ass reputation, you know, they kind of get a reputation as a menace or a problem, whether they're really like that or not, to be honest, man. And, you know, that shit right there, that started from an early age. I promise you, that started from an early age. But as they grow older and, you know, as they mature, you know, they'll probably stop caring so much about fitting in and making friends, which is actually probably the best thing in the world for these folks in particular. You know, maybe not for everybody else, but that's the best thing for them, man. But that doesn't mean that they won't have meaningful relationships or friendships. Absolutely not. Understand that. Cause, you know, close relationships and personal relationships, you know, that's not going to be affected. That's the seventh house. You know, it's the groups that they associate themselves with. That's the issue. Okay. It's all of them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, what about your friends? Okay. And, you know, please understand also that, you know, these folks right here, they really don't want to be perceived in any controversial ways. But, you know, Lilith's mechanisms, you know, she has a whole nother plan for that. And they're subtle and they're hard to illuminate. So, you know, as long as that stays in the subconscious, you know, it's going to cause a lot of extra shit, which in this case is, you know, it means in the realm of their social life and their friendships and the people they associate themselves with. Okay. And oh man, hey man, you know, let me tell you too, man, that this one right here, this one can make holding down a steady job an absolute bitch too. Cause it's like every time in the beginning, everything is just peachy keen, man. It's all good. But sooner or later, you know, in that workplace, whatever's going on, they start feeling like motherfuckers are hating on them. And everybody's turning against them, or, you know, they start beefing with the bosses or the superiors. So, you know, it's just rough. And the thing is, in this case, with the 11th being about gains, it's messing up their money. You allowing that to mess with your money if you got this placement. And you, hey, you got a line for that. In this day and age, you got a line for that, man. And look, let me tell you something. If this is your placement, you know, y'all are all about authenticity, man. And y'all are all about integrity, no matter how much drama you see. And the thing with this is, you know, the major lesson here, when I think about Lilith in the 11th house, is just to learn to accept your authentic self and, you know, stop caring so much whether you fit in or whether people like you. No, man. That's definitely not what it's about. Fit out. And you might just be able to integrate a little bit of that shadow. But remember, either way, just because you build like that, you don't have to build like that. And that's the beauty of it. We all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. Hey, there's been some priceless knowledge of self. I appreciate everybody's love and support. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, man, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. By the way, If you made it this far, you better be hitting that like button, man. For real. You out of line and you uncivilized if you haven't. You feel me? Y'all keep it real till next time, man. Okay? This next installment is going to be our final installment in our Lilith in the Houses series. It's been a pleasure. And after that, who knows where we goes. Y'all keep it real, baby. Because that's what I'm going to do always.